The checkpoint sat at the edge of the harbor facility, a low concrete structure humming with generators and radios. Night had settled in, bringing cooler air and a thin mist off the water. Floodlights cast hard shadows across the pavement, where vehicles rolled through one by one. Commander Rachel Whitmore stepped out of the unmarked sedan with a small duffel slung over her shoulder. She wore plain civilian clothes, hair pulled back, posture relaxed. To anyone watching, she looked like a contractor or an analyst passing through late. That was the point. Her credentials were sealed in an inner pocket. Her rank insignia was nowhere in sight. For the next 48 hours, she was there to observe security compliance, not announce herself. Point two guards approached. Sergeant Lucas Bennett led, clipboard tucked under his arm, expression tired but alert. "Evening, ma'am," he said. "Purpose of visit?" "Logistics review," Rachel replied calmly. "Temporary access." Bennett scanned her ID, frowning slightly. "You're not in our system." "That's correct," she said. "I'm attached through another command." Bennett exchanged a look with his partner, Corporal Mason Hale. Hale shrugged. "Secondary screening," Bennett decided. "Standard." Rachel nodded once. "Understood." They escorted her inside. The corridor smelled faintly of disinfectant. Cameras tracked their movement. A door buzzed open, revealing a small processing room with a bench, lockers, and a posted list of procedures. Bennett cleared his throat. "Ma'am, due to discrepancies, we're required to conduct a full search." Rachel met his eyes. "Define full." He hesitated. "A strip search." The word landed heavy in the room. Rachel didn't raise her voice. She didn't step back. She simply breathed once, slow and controlled. "I will not consent to an improper search," she said evenly. "State your authorization." Bennett stiffened. "This is within protocol. Only under specific conditions," Rachel replied. "And only with supervisory approval." "Hale shifted unjon fortabi." "Sarge, maybe we should—" Bennett cut him off. "Procedure says—" Rachel held up a hand. "Procedure says dignity and necessity. Neither has been established." Silence stretched. The hum of the lights grew louder. Bennett squared his shoulders. "Ma'am, if you refuse—" "I'm not refusing," Rachel said calmly. "I'm asking you to follow the rules you swore to uphold." Her tone wasn't threatening. It was instructional. Bennett's jaw tightened. "We'll do this by the book," he said. "Mason, call it in." Hale stepped aside to radio the supervisor. While they waited, Rachel sat on the bench, placing her duffel at her feet. She kept her hands visible, posture composed. Years of command had taught her that panic invited mistakes. Calm exposed them. The door opened again. Lieutenant Karen O'Neill entered, crisp uniform, sharp eyes taking in the room in seconds. "What's the issue?" O'Neill asked. Bennett spoke quickly. "ID discrepancy. She's refusing a strip search." Rachel looked up. "I requested supervisory review before any invasive procedure." O'Neill studied Rachel, then the paperwork. "May I see your credentials?" Rachel reached slowly into her jacket and handed over a slim folder that O'Neill opened it, read the first line, then froze. Her eyes widened. She looked up sharply at Rachel, then back down, then snapped the folder shut. "Everyone out," O'Neill said. Bennett blinked. "Mom." "Now." The guard stepped outside. The door closed. O'Neill straightened, suddenly rigid. "Admiral Whitmore, I had no idea." Rachel stood. "That's intentional." "O'Neill Zvalovid." "They were about to—" "I know," Rachel said gently. "And they stopped when you arrived." "That matters." "O'Neill escalate." "Sir, ma'am." "I mean, at ease," Rachel said. "This is an inspection." Outside, Bennett paced uneasy. Hale leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "What's taking so long?" Bennett muttered. The door opened. O'Neill stepped out, face unreadable. "Sergeant Bennett," she said. "Corporal Hale." "Stand by." Rachel followed, posture calm, eyes steady. Bennett straightened instinctively. Rachel spoke then, her voice quiet but unmistakably authoritative. "You were prepared to order an invasive search without meeting the threshold for necessity," she said. "Do you understand why that's a problem?" Bennett's mouth went dry. "Mom, I was following protocol." "Protocol is not a shield," Rachel replied. "It's a responsibility." She looked at Hale. You questioned it. Hale nodded nervously. Yes, ma'am. Good, Rachel said. Keep doing that. She turned back to Bennett. Do you know who I am? Bennett hesitated. No, ma'am. Rachel removed a small card from her pocket and held it out. His eyes scanned it. The color drained from his face. Admiral, he whispered. Former SEAL, Rachel added quietly. Current command authority. Bennett swallowed hard. Ma'am, she raised a hand. This is not about me. It's about the system. She gestured toward the posted procedures. Those rules exist to protect everyone, including you. O'Neill stepped forward. Sir, ma'am, Admiral Whitmore is conducting a compliance audit. Bennett nodded stiffly. Understood. Rachel continued. You did several things right. You escalated. You called supervision. You stopped short of action. She paused. But you also let frustration push you toward overreach. Bennett's shoulders slumped. Yes, ma'am. Correct it, Rachel said. Because next time, it might not be an inspection. She turned to Hale. You're assigned temporary lead on secondary screening for the remainder of the shift. Hale in it. Yes, ma'am. Bennett looked up sharply, surprised. Rachel met his eyes. Leadership is learned. This is part of it. The tension eased slightly. Later, in the command office overlooking the harbor, Rachel reviewed footage with the base commander, Captain William Hart. You handled it cleanly, Hart said. No spectacle. Rachel nodded. Public humiliation fixes nothing. Hart leaned back. Most people wouldn't have stayed that calm. Rachel allowed a faint smile. Calm as trained. She stood and looked out over the water. Your people aren't bad, she said. They're pressured. Tighten guidance. Reinforce thresholds. Hart nodded. We will. As she prepared to leave, Rachel recorded a brief message on her phone. If you're watching this on the channel Generals and True Stories, make sure you subscribe. These stories aren't about tricks or disguises. They're about accountability, professionalism, and how leadership shows up when no one thinks they're being watched. She slipped the phone away and headed for the exit at the checkpoint. Bennett stood straighter than before. He met her gaze and nodded respectfully. Safe travels, ma'am, he said. Rachel returned the nod. Do your job well. She stepped into the night, the harbor lights reflecting off the water, leaving behind a facility a little sharper, a little more disciplined than before. Because real authority doesn't need to be announced, that IT just needs to be exercised correctly.